Andrew Mouse from the Minnesota Marine Art Museum is with us. We're going to talk about some of the things that are happening there. And again, thank you for coming to visit with us, Andrew. Appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me.
And we've got always lots of things happening at the museum, and I guess each month you kind of start, usually some new programs kind of come up, and of course April's never an exception, right?
No, there is no exception. I mean, we're always doing new exhibitions, new programs. In fact, we just opened up two new exhibitions in these last couple of months. Actually, three now that I think of it. So if it's been a while since you've been to the museum, there's going to be three new shows for you to see. The latest was an exhibition from the Lauren Rogers Museum of Art called The Floating World, and sponsored by Winona National Bank. It's probably one of my favorite subjects, which is historical Japanese prints, which is really exciting. And as you walk around the museum, in another gallery, there are paintings of the Arctic by early marine painter, 19th century American named William Bradford. And then a little bit closer to home, in another gallery, we have an exhibition with a Brownsville, Minnesota artist named Sarah Lubinsky.
Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Now, painting in the Arctic, that must have its own set of challenges, I would think.
Well, especially in the 19th century, right?
Exactly. How do you keep your paints from freezing? That's my question.
Well, Bradford was as much explorer as he was an artist. He's one of the first Americans to paint the Arctic, but he also brought along with him some photographers. And the result was a book, I believe it was published in the 1870s, called The Arctic Regions, which was more or less the culmination of his travels to the Arctic regions.
Sounds very interesting.
It is interesting, yeah.
And of course, you always have your permanent display, and those pictures interchange, or those paintings interchange.
Yeah, so it's basically, you can, when you come to the museum, I think, more than ever, it's sort of like not quite all the way around the world, but kind of a trip around the world, because there's, as I stated, the paintings by Sarah Lubinsky, which she's a regional artist whose work is primarily inspired by the river environment. Stunning images. She's really, really a profoundly good painter. William Bradford, paintings of the Arctic, historical Japanese prints, and then as you meander through the museum's collections, we have our European collection, which has the Impressionists, the Monet and the Van Gogh and the Cezanne and so forth. And in the back gallery is the museum's American collection, which contains highlights from Winslow Homer, Georgia O'Keeffe, Andrew Wyeth. The museum has a wonderful Andrew Wyeth, and his son, Jamie Wyeth, is now represented in the museum as well.
Excellent. I know, it's amazing, the collection of works that are right here in Winona.
It's a pretty impressive thing, yeah, and I think highly unusual for a lot of reasons. I mean, the museum has a unique mission, but the substantial collections and exhibitions that we've been able to do, thanks to our supporters, is really it's a really great thing to be a part of. The museum has about I want to say 1,300 or so financial supporters, members and donors who help us do great things for Winona.
I know the museum likes to give back, and there's some art camps coming up, are there not? Some things this summer for kids? Maybe time for parents to start thinking about some of that stuff?
We're constantly doing family programs, adult programs. The museum is a nonprofit educational organization, and that is our mission through and through, and it definitely hits its fever pitch, if you will, in the summer, because there's just a ton of family programs. We have our biggest event of the year, which is called Family Fest, and that's coming up this summer. And then, as you stated, the Winona Arts Camp also takes place at the museum, and that's in the middle of June. And the registration is now open for that, and it fills up pretty quickly.
All right, so lots of things for folks to keep in mind.
Absolutely, yeah. So one of the things we do as a museum is we not only offer aesthetic experiences, if you will, but also educational, and we offer parents a chance to nurture creativity in their kids, and that's something we take very seriously. So and hopefully parents do too.
Almost out of time. What's the you got a museum? Got a museum has a website. People want to kind of check it out online if they haven't been there.
Yep, we have a new website. It's at mmam.org, and it has information about exhibitions, collections, programs, and also how to get involved. How to, if people are interested in becoming one of our members that help us sustain the operation. There's information on there as well. That's mmam.org.
All right, very good. Thank you, Andrew, for taking some time to talk with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.